Why do you think there is such a need for people of all races and ethnicities to be able to pinpoint exactly what Black identity is?
If you are a part of the Black diaspora, you know, in this country, we had the famously have, it depends on how you look at it, the one drop rule, which means if you have one drop of Black blood in your lineage somewhere, then you are Black. So it's important to know that, because it's about how the world perceives you or how the world will perceive you if they find out you got that Black blood in you. So it's important to figure out what your Black identity means to you. And then for people who don't have a drop of Black blood in them or don't think they do, because, you know, sometimes people do and don't know they do, it's important to understand the loaded political and culturally relevant nature of the Black identity in this country, because you could not define whatever the United States of America is without including Black folks and what we've accomplished and contributed to this country. And if you think that like somehow we're some sort of cultural melting pot where we're all sort of, you know, all the contributions are the same, that is not true. Everything that Black people have added to this country, we literally did through blood, sweat, and tears, and often did not get the credit or the money for it.
I think too that kind of plays into stereotypes about what it means to be too Black or not Black enough. Why do you think that dichotomy has existed for so long?
Black folks in this country, Black folks in the diaspora did not invent the identity of Black, obviously. We've perfected it, we've honed it, we've worked it over, you know, we've taken it out back and really like worked it over like a heavy bag and made it fit for us. But like, we were brought here from, I ain't telling you nothing you don't know, we were brought here from West Africa and sort of had to figure it out. And so figuring out the Black identity, a lot of it was like, you have to be Black in a way that backs off white supremacy, that lets white people know that you are not, even though they may treat you like you are less than, that you are not less than, that you may be in fact and probably are greater than. But how you execute that is different for every Black person, or can be different for every Black person. So I'm a Black kid who grew up during hip hop listening to Black rock bands like Fishbone and Living Color and 24/7 Spies and other bands a lot of people who are watching this may not have heard of. And those are Black rock bands, all Black rock bands for the most of their history. And I was told that that music wasn't Black enough. And those Black rock bands are singing about revolution, they're singing about politics, they're singing about Blackness, and somehow that's not Black enough, you know. I think a lot of times we put Blackness on skin color, and yet we know that some of the most militant, angry Black folks in the history of this country have been light-skinned Black folks, whether it's Malcolm X, I mean, even Bob Marley was mixed, you know. So I think the idea being that like, it can't just be about your shade, you know, Ice-T, you know, like it keeps going. So I think that like, it can't just be about your shade, but I think a lot of times, when Black folks say a Black person isn't Black enough, I mean, we you know, there's a difference between talking about somebody like Clarence Thomas, who you can look at a long record of being anti-Black, a long record, a distinguished record of anti-Blackness, and somebody who's just making different Black choices than you would make and is living their Blackness in a way that you would not live your Blackness.
What is your role as a storyteller when it comes to how Black identity is discussed and portrayed?
I mean, my role is to investigate and uplift stories that I feel like are not told enough, and because I'm a Black man, a lot of those stories are Black. If you look at the history of my work, Bill Cosby had been one of my heroes. I'm a Black man, stand-up comic. I was born in the 70s. But this?
More trouble for Bill Cosby.
The accusations just keep coming in.
This was complicated. There's a big focus on Blackness throughout my work. Doesn't mean I just talk about that, but there's a big focus on that. So for me, sometimes that is figuring out how to highlight Black excellence, which we, in an episode of United Shades of America that was about Black folks in Afrofuturism and tech, it was an hour of television that highlighted smart Black folks in tech and sciences in the STEM fields. And sometimes it's about like, look at how white supremacy is hurting Black folks. How do we figure out a way through and around this, and how do we dismantle it? So I tend to want to do both, but I definitely don't want to just investigate the problems. I want to also uplift Black folks.